guys, welcome to another episode of the Main Street Moments podcast. This is Kathy.
And Brian.
And we wanted to do a podcast today because news has come out about Christmas at Disney World. A lot of news came out, actually. As you know, the fall and Halloween decorations are going up September 15th. And now they've announced that the Christmas decorations are going to be up November 6th, which is awesome. But they are canceling a lot of your favorite things because of the COVID pandemic, as you can guess. So here's the list of the things they're canceling, and then we're going to tell you what they're going to have to make Christmas extra special for everybody. So obviously the first thing they're canceling is Mickey's Christmas party. That's canceled, which is no big surprise.
You know, that doesn't make any sense to me because the Christmas party is a limited ticketed event. So in theory, there are not that many people in the park. So why don't they do it with the extra ticketed event? I don't understand.
Because I don't think they can make up the cost.
Because people aren't traveling to Florida.
I mean, they could do a modified version of it and charge less money. But they are doing some really, and I put these articles in our Facebook group, they're doing some really cool projections on the castle that are new and different during the holidays, which are going to be amazing. Last year, we went to Magic Kingdom a couple times during the holidays, and the castle was covered in lights. Like, I guess it was like Frozen themed, and they had a Frozen show, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So now they're going to have some really cool holiday projections on the castle. I really like those projections. They're really amazing. But they're canceling the Christmas party. I think you're right. I think they could do a modified version and sell tickets for less money, but maybe they just don't want to have anything where people gather and, you know, all this stuff. So I guess they just feel they can't justify the cost of having people come in. So they're going to have modified events. Okay, so the next thing they're canceling is they are no longer going to have the candlelight processional at Epcot, where they have all the celebrity speakers. And
well, that's a big crowd.
Through,
yeah, that's a big crowd. Yeah,
it draws a big crowd where they tell the Christmas story, and they have the choir, which is amazing. We've seen that a couple times. And you won't get to see it this year, but next year, definitely. All these things are really going to sell out like crazy next year because people are going to be wanting to see them.
Well, the candlelight processional, we've never paid for that. We just kind of usually hang back behind the place and listen to the speaker.
Well, yeah, but we've seen it. I mean, we sit in the back and stand there and watch. We've watched it.
Yeah.
It's really, when we saw it, it was a long time ago, but it was the father from the Fresh Prince. That's how long ago it was where we sat back and watched.
We've been there a couple times when they've had the voice of the Little Mermaid.
Jodie Benson?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember that.
And I was there, and you might have been with me when Edward James Olmos was there from Miami Vice and Battlestar Galactica.
I do remember that, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then another thing, and this is all on the Disney Parks blog. So it says here, let me just read these articles real quick. Okay. It says here from November 6th through December. Okay, let me go out. So what else is being canceled is we said the Christmas party, the candlelight processional, and they're also, so they're not going to have like parades, but they're modifying everything. And also it said at Disney Springs where they normally have all those Christmas trees, they're going to have them throughout Disney Springs instead of all in one place, which makes sense. I mean, they're not going to have the trail of trees where you can go and it's in one area. They're going to have them peppered throughout all of Disney Springs. So you're going to have to walk through all of Disney Springs if you want to see them all. They should make some kind of a scavenger hunt game or something.
I really
for kids.
wonder what Disney's plan is. You know what? I obviously, you know, there's a vaccine and things will start to get back to normal.
Yeah.
But I was watching Theme Park Express, which is a YouTuber, Theme Park Express, and he was at the Magic Kingdom yesterday, which was Labor Day. And it was like a ghost town, you know, compared to Universal, which was jam-packed. And I just wonder why Disney doesn't let as many people in as Universal. And are they canceling a lot of these things because it's an excuse for them to get rid of a lot of things they've wanted to get rid of and update over the years?
Well,
because some of these things are kind of tired,
that's possible,
you know?
But we'll see what they do next year if they bring them back.
But the candlelight procession, that's big. They go in the whole story of Christmas and everything.
I can't imagine they're not going to bring these things back because the Festival of the Holidays, which is my personal favorite, they have 4 festivals at Epcot. And I like the Festival of the Holidays the best because the park is so beautiful and they have all the different Santa Clauses around talking to the kids. And the food's amazing and all the Christmas music. I really like that time of year. But and the processional is gorgeous. They have these kids, the
Mhm.
local kids come holding candles, and they have
Oh,
this
yeah.
amazing
It's
choir.
great.
It really puts you in the Christmas spirit. So I think they'll be back next year. It says here, guests will be here's what okay, so that's what's been canceled so far that we know of, which
Mhm.
is pretty big. So anything where there's a lot of people that can congregate, they're not going to have. So here's what is going to be there. It says guests will be delighted by the sight of festive flotillas at Animal Kingdom. That's where they have the characters on these boats going around the
Yeah.
waterways
Yeah,
at Animal Kingdom.
they've been doing
And
that.
you'll be at Animal Kingdom a week from Saturday, so you'll get to see some flotillas because they're having them now with some of the characters. Holiday promenades at Epcot, and you saw that with Elsa and Anna. They have
Mhm.
it's kind of like a mini parade,
Yeah.
like with a couple characters.
Yeah.
Merry Motorcades at Hollywood Studios, which they're doing now. They have the characters in cars, in those old-fashioned cars. Character cavalcades at Magic Kingdom, and with a special holiday twist with Christmas friends on festive floats in their holiday finest gingerbread men. Check. Elves and reindeer, check. And my personal favorite, the toy soldiers will join the Main Street Philharmonic as they march through Magic Kingdom. Well, that'll be cool. So they're gonna have a little parade with the soldiers with the band.
Well, what I really miss that Disney they did away with a long time ago because they built Galaxy's Edge was when they had that family Christmas light thing.
Everybody misses that.
Yeah, what was that called? The Osborne family lights.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
amazing.
Well, they got rid of
And-
that whole area at Hollywood Studios, the back
Yeah,
lot.
and last year, this came up last year because last year was the first holiday season, the first Christmas season with Galaxy's Edge, and out at Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, they did something that was absolutely amazing. It was a fan thing. Guests did it. The park didn't do it, and I thought, you know what? Maybe they'll pick up on this.
Oh, yes.
They did at Disneyland. Adam the Woo was there, and some
Yeah,
other vloggers.
The fans did this.
Yeah, they did Life Day, and Life
Yes.
Day was the Star Wars Christmas special when the first Star Wars movie came out in theaters. It was a 1978 Christmas, and Han Solo was taking Chewbacca back to his home planet for Life Day, which was Christmas.
You can see that on
And-
YouTube, too.
Yeah, and Adam the Woo was at this last year. The just regular people that was nothing to do with Disney. They had a Life Day celebration at Galaxy's Edge and I thought, wow, that's so amazing.
Maybe they will. That would be amazing.
Here we are about a year later, and everything's getting shut down. So I don't expect that if they did Life Day at Galaxy's
That'd be
Edge,
so cool.
people would flip out.
Yeah, and well,
that
they
would be
might.
so huge.
Another thing that's getting canceled is the gingerbread displays. I forgot to mention that, which is so disappointing.
Yeah.
They're not going to have the huge gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian.
That's the NBA bubble now.
Well, and they're not going to have the gingerbread carousel or probably the chocolate carousel. So, I mean, I read that the gingerbread displays are not going to happen. So I'm assuming the chocolate carousel at the boardwalk is going to be gone. Anywhere they said where people are going to conglomerate or congregate, whatever, in a large group. Now, we've been to the Grand Floridian during Christmas time, and it's absolutely amazing. And they have the gingerbread house. It's huge. I mean, looks like a house you can walk into. And people do gather around it a lot.
Yeah.
But I think personally they could still have it and line people up. That's a huge lobby.
Well,
they can space people out.
You know
I
what?
think it's a shame they're not having
What
that.
I miss more than anything at Walt Disney, we shouldn't gripe. They were closed for 6 months, and now they're open, and we're
No, I
griping.
know.
But you know what I miss a lot, and they used to have this too at the Grand Floridian all the time, especially at Christmas time, was live music, and they would have piano player in the lobby.
They have that.
and they would
just not
have
now.
they would have the bands at at Epcot for the different festivals and everything.
Right.
And
That's
I,
not going to be here, I don't think.
I really miss it. So many people I know were suffering and out of work during the whole
Yeah,
COVID
we got to
thing.
keep it in perspective.
But
here.
musicians
Yeah.
are, they're starving.
They're having a hard
I
time.
mean, they're not, yeah.
I mean, I think it's hard enough for musicians to get work, but they're not having.
It's
as far as
awful.
I know, you've been to Epcot. They're not having the live bands.
No, not even in Canada. They
yeah.
always have that band in
And
Canada.
during the holidays,
in the UK,
they
pavilion.
do a lot. Like we'll see at the Grand Floridian, they have an orchestra there. They
No.
have a piano player who's amazing, and they play all kinds of nice Christmas music. So those are the things, like I said, that are being canceled, and some of the things they're adding now. This is about the nighttime projection. It says here, when night falls, special projection effects will give a festive look to Cinderella Castle this year, providing a colorful backdrop for our guests' photos. The appearance of the iconic castle will be transformed with a rotating series of designs, including a whimsical Christmas sweater and a regal overlay of red, green, and gold ornamentation. This will be in place of the castle dream lights. That's what was last year.
Yeah.
Other holiday experiences that draw big crowds will be on the hiatus this year as well, such as the Christmas party.
Well, what about the
candlelight.
lights they do on the Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios? Is that
I
there?
would imagine that's still going to be there. I mean, if they're doing projections, the only good thing about this, okay, the only positive is when you have the Christmas party every year, a lot of these special things are reserved only for people who go to the Christmas party.
Yeah.
And because they're not having the parties, they're making this stuff available all the time to everybody that goes. That's the only positive, because normally if you'd have to buy a ticket for the Christmas party to see all these cool just projections, to get the special treats, to see the cool parades. You'd have to buy a ticket to see that. Now, they're not having the same things, but all these things are going to be available to everybody now.
Yeah.
Because there is no special ticket. So that's the only positive. Now, you and Emily are going in a couple weeks for the weekend just to see all the fall decorations. And then we have a reservation over Thanksgiving, which we're still planning on going. I'm really excited about that. And the only thing I worry about is you have to book your reservations way in advance. And I know Thanksgiving's going to book up really quick.
Yeah, the reservation system,
Josh Darmo says it's here to stay.
Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah,
so let's talk about Disney Springs. It says here, Hollywood Studios, this is interesting, and I wouldn't mind doing this. Minnie Mouse will be hosting a Yuletide gathering for all her friends at Hollywood and Vine at Disney's Hollywood Studios starting November 6th. I would love to do this. Santa Goofy will be there along with Minnie and more in their holiday best. So that's at Hollywood and Vine at, let's see. I guess, so at that intersection, I guess they're going to have like a gathering or something.
Yeah.
So I wonder what that's going to be like, because they're not having character meetings. So I wonder what that means. But that'll be starting on the 6th, which will be fun. And then Disney Springs, it says Christmas around every corner as they come across a collection of elaborately decorated trees spread throughout the retail, dining, and entertainment destination. So it's saying they're not going to have, the trees all in one place. And of course, all the resorts will be decorated, and they're going to have the special holiday food. So that's what's going on with that. They made all their big Christmas announcements today.
Well, I didn't go up for the Labor Day weekend because I went last year at Labor Day weekend, and I said I will never go back on Labor Day weekend because it's so crowded. And of course, couldn't get a reservation.
No, you couldn't. You even tried to go this year.
Yeah, I could have gotten a reservation yesterday at the last minute during the day, but I was doing something else on Labor Day, so I didn't go. But the reservation system to me is not that bad of a thing. I mean, it depends. It depends on how big the crowds are going to be next year at the parks and how many people they are in. But even now, like yesterday, when I was watching Theme Park Express, there were rides that had 50-minute wait times yesterday when it was. So a lot of times the park looks empty, but that's because people are all at the rides.
They're at the rides, but there are less people because normally you'd have the long queues, and you'd have people in the park too, walking down the thoroughfare.
Last time I rode Jungle Cruise a couple weeks ago, I had to wait in line an hour.
Yeah, but inside the park itself, it was not as many people. I remember you and I went to Epcot a couple times, and the rides were long, and the people walking, it was like packed. I mean, it was really uncomfortable. So we'll see. Okay, so now it's talking about the Epcot. It says here, obviously, like I said, the hotels are going to be decorated with iconic trees. The gingerbread will be canceled. It says they're going to be celebrating highlights from the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays. Holiday kitchens will return around World Showcase, promenade with favorites like American Holiday Table featuring slow roasted
what
turkey.
What about, one thing that they do?
stuffing.
There's one thing they do at Epcot at Christmas time, which I think is really cool, is they have the Santa Claus from the different Santa Clauses from the different countries. I bet they don't do that this year.
Well, they'll probably walk.
Yeah,
maybe not, because the kids all gather. It doesn't
right.
say anything about that. It says, though, they will have the 8-part harmonies of the Voices of Liberty
Oh, that's
in the
nice.
American Gardens Theater. So they are going to have some live entertainment there. They're also going to have an R&B, gospel, contemporary, and traditional Christmas and holiday music throughout Epcot.
There is a little bit of live music. If at the that outdoor theater at Epcot, they've had the band from Mexico.
Yes, right.
And
I think that's where they'll have these R&B.
those janitors. which, I'm not a big fan of the janitors. That was really cool the first time I saw it back
What
in
do you mean?
'86.
The ones doing the design.
The janitors that play the band.
Oh,
I'm
where
so
is
tired of
that?
that. I'm so tired of
I thought
that.
that was
That's
at
at
Hollywood
Epcot. No, that's
Studios.
at Epcot. And they have had them in that theater too.
Are you sure that's not at Hollywood Studios?
It's at Epcot Center.
Oh, they do
Yeah.
that there too, where they have because you were a part of it. You were at Universal. This is one thing I know about Brian. I don't know what it is, but every time you go to a park where there's like performers where they bring people in,
Yeah.
they always pick you.
Oh,
It
the
has
one-
happened to you like 3
The
times.
one at Universal are construction workers.
Those right.
Those are
So they called
construction
you
workers.
in.
Yeah.
Then you were at Halloween Horror Nights, and the singers called you on stage to dance
At Diagon Alley.
at Diagon Alley.
And I
then
can't
another
dance.
time, yeah, and that's for sure. And
Maybe they
another
sense
time
my hesitation to take part in anything.
I don't know, but it's pretty funny. But you always get called for that. So anyway, I'm excited. I think Disney's being extremely cautious, as we've said before, compared to Universal. And Universal seems to be taking advantage of this a little bit, bringing more people in. They are trying to make it still extra special.
You know what
with the
I wish, because
decorations and stuff.
I know we talk about the vloggers a lot because we watch a lot of vloggers. I wish some of the vloggers from California, from Disneyland, would come to Florida and vlog Walt Disney World. I really, like Best Life and Beyond
Yeah.
and some of the others.
Spencer and Katie, we love
I
them.
really like it when the Disneyland
Have they ever?
vloggers
I'm sure
come here.
they've been to Disney.
Yeah, because
World.
like Provost Parks came here and he had never been to
Yeah.
Magic Kingdom here. He went to the one at Disneyland. And I love watching the vlogs of the people from Disneyland when they come here. And when the Disney World people go to Disneyland, they're faking it. They're all everybody to me seems disappointed
yeah.
because Disney World, if you go and watch Provost Parks when they come to the Magic Kingdom and he sees the castle, you can see on his face he's like blown away because it's so huge. And since Disneyland is closed, I wish some of them would come here and cover some of this stuff.
Okay, so it says here before we go, additional dining options returning this fall at Magic Kingdom Park and Disney's Hollywood Studios. See, Florida's now in phase 2.
Yeah.
And Osceola County and the numbers there are pretty low. I check every day. They're very low compared to Palm Beach.
Yeah,
where
like
we
movie
live.
theaters are open and things.
So we're into phase 2 now. So it says here, fall is around the corner. Recently, we've shared some pretty exciting updates about Halloween fun. Hollywood Studios, there's some Halloween fun in store. They're opening more restaurants. It says here, September 24th, guests can enjoy dining in the enchanted fairy tale setting of Cinderella's royal table. I guess that's been closed.
Yeah.
It
Well,
says
this might
here-
be the time
yeah.
that if you're going to go to the Royal Table, we ate there once many years
Gaston's
ago.
Tavern's reopening.
The Royal
commissary.
Table, this is probably the best time ever to go to the Royal Table if you're ever going to go. I know it's expensive, but there won't be as many people in there. And
Yeah,
you know
with
what I
indoor
mean?
dining, they have to space out.
Yeah, so yeah, that'd probably be worth it.
And I'm assuming Cinderella and them still walk around, but I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah,
I mean, you pay
yeah.
for it. Is she going to be wearing a mask? I
Why
mean,
else would you pay?
Exactly.
you know?
Well, they're opening more places and restaurants at Disney coming this fall. So they are loosening a little bit with the rules. Obviously, masks are still going to be required until there's a vaccine. But they are loosening up a little bit. They're trying to make the holidays special, and they're going to have Halloween decorations, Halloween things. So that'll be a lot of fun to experience. And they're trying to make Christmas special, even though they do have to cut a lot of things
Yeah.
from what's
the
going
biggest problem, I think, is all of us that are going to the parks now are getting so spoiled on these crowd sizes. These are I keep telling everyone this is what it was like in the 90s to go to Walt Disney World. You still had to wait in line, but the park wasn't like
But, you know,
overcrowded.
It might stay that way because Josh Darmo said that it's a better guest experience, but I think a lot of
No
it
way.
too
He'll
is
get overruled.
well, I think a lot of it too is
They want money.
they can hire less employees when they have less people. I don't know. I'm sure they're crunching the numbers to see what works, but he's saying it's here to stay. It's a better guest experience. But I think after all this is over and there's a vaccine, there's going to be such a demand for people to go. I think it'll eventually go back to the way
Well,
it was. I mean, it's just too much money to turn away.
You know,
They're not going to say sorry.
When I went on the first day that Magic Kingdom opened, and it was like a ghost town, like a lot of people didn't like it. And I liked it because I knew I would probably never have this experience again, like
No,
having the
you
park to
won't.
myself.
Definitely
So
not.
I was talking to Adam the Woo. He's like, "Do you like it like this?" I said, "Yeah." He didn't seem to like it as much like this when there was no one
Well,
there?
I think
I'm
when
like,
it's
when are you ever
really
gonna
yeah, but it kind of doesn't it take
experience
away
this
from
again?
the experience a little bit when it's like really empty? Then I mean, that's no fun either.
Um,
I like to see
no,
people there. No,
no.
well, I like to see people, and I like to. I don't like massive crowds, but I don't mind an okay crowd. And I really kind of have a lot of fun looking at kids and how they react to things, and everybody having a good time. It makes me
Well, for
happy.
the kids, not that if that when our daughter was little, the thing I think she liked most was the character meets.
Oh yeah, well,
And
that's what I loved when I was a little
and
kid
you
too.
can see them in the in these things they call parades now, and you can
Yeah.
like sneak in like a selfie when they go by, but that's a big thing that people
I
are missing
wonder
out on.
when they're going to bring that back. That is what I'm really curious about. They're in phase 2. They're loosening up a little, but I really don't think this is my own personal opinion. I don't think they're going to bring back those character meetings until there's a vaccine because they want
Well,
to
yeah,
protect the princesses too. They want to protect their cast members and
yeah,
employees. They
yeah.
don't want anything like that. So if you're a princess, how many people are you going to meet and hug?
Well,
And I mean, it's
you
going to
know,
be,
I saw today cruise ships are starting back up in Italy. Okay.
mm,
And what they're doing in Italy, they're only letting Italians travel on them and they can only go to Italian destinations, but they're testing everyone for coronavirus before they board. They have some very fast tests that they're doing.
I cannot imagine
And
Disney
they are
testing
testing
people.
everybody that goes into the parks.
Well,
I mean, onto the boats.
Well, they might do that with the Disney Cruise Line. Um,
Yes.
but I don't know if they would do that for the parks. I mean, would they ever get to a point where they have by the time they get a test that does that, they're going to have a
Well, the way
vaccine. They
they're
won't need to
well,
do
the
it.
way they're doing it on the cruise, and I'm taking a cruise in December, maybe if they open back up. I hope to. But
Not a Disney
what?
cruise. He takes a cruise for work every year.
Yeah, I do a listener cruise for
Yeah,
every.
for the radio show.
But what they're doing in Italy, and I know they're gonna be doing here is like when you board a cruise ship, you can just usually just show up. Now they're gonna okay, this is your time to show up. But you can't just show up. They're gonna give you like a time so
Yeah.
they can do the testing. I don't think they could do instant testing for everyone coming into Disney World.
Well, I think with a cruise, it makes more sense because you're in a confined space, and the cruise ships were a major problem in March, bringing in COVID and a whole ship getting sick. Because you're in a confined space and you're out in the sea. A park is different. You're
But you know what?
outside and
On
you're
the
walking around and
cruises,
you come and you leave.
I take a lot of cruises, and the Disney cruises are the most expensive of all. Okay, I mean they're really overpriced, and
They're expensive,
they're incredibly overpriced. But the reason that people
but you do get a lot for your money.
well, one thing you get are the characters. So if they're not going to
Right.
have the character
Yeah.
meetings, that to me, that would probably be the main reason people pay way too much money.
Well, I don't think they're going to have the cruises with Disney until there's a vaccine. I really don't. That's just my opinion. And according to everything I hear, we're supposed to have one beginning in November. That'll be a game changer for everything because what you'll see is everything's just going to start
Well,
opening
the
up.
parks have been open for months now.
Yeah.
Universal, they opened up City Place. Universal's been open, and they had a ton of people in there.
Now, I wonder
Disney's
if
been open.
Universal is
The-
going to have their Macy's parade. What are
I
they
don't know.
going to do with their Christmas
There,
stuff?
there has not been, and the parks have been open for months and months, and the hotels, and we follow the news pretty closely. There has not been one story of any outbreak or anything
No.
related to any of the Florida theme parks, and all the Florida theme parks have been open for months.
Yeah.
And as far as the
No outbreaks or anything.
no, and social distancing and all. I mean, once you're in the queue line and you're inside these places, it's not as strict as you might think. And so I feel very confident and safe when I'm at the parks. I have no worries.
Yeah.
No.
So anyway, that's the news on the Christmas. I'm still excited to go and see all the. I love the decorations, and I'm excited to see the new
Yeah.
projections for the castle. It's going to be amazing.
What do you think if
and-
they skipped? What if they, because it's September now. What if they skipped the Halloween decorations, fall decorations, and just went Christmas and just skipped it? They should.
You are insane.
That would be awesome.
What are you talking about? Halloween is the best. Are you kidding me?
No, I like the
You're
Christmas
nuts.
displays they have much
I like
better.
both, and I would love for them to do this. I love the Halloween and the fall decorations, and I would love if they did like somebody else mentioned this, like for 2 weeks they kind of had a hybrid of both, like where they were switching them out, but they switch them out so fast, and I would really love an overlay of the Haunted Mansion
Yeah.
for Nightmare Before Christmas like they get in Disneyland. I wish
You
we
know,
had that at our park.
Justin Scarred, I've heard talk about this a lot. They do that cool Nightmare Before Christmas at the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. And he said the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland is closed about 6 months a year because they do these overlays and things like
I
that.
don't think that's accurate. I think it's 2 weeks. I read. I don't think
Really?
that's yeah. I read it's only a couple weeks.
Okay.
So let us know what it is. I'm not sure. I've heard Justin say 6 months or a longer period of time, or somebody say that. But then I heard somebody else say it's like 2 to 3 weeks.
You know
where
what
they
would
do
be
it really quick.
You know what a really cool place to have a Christmas overlay? The mansion would be cool,
Mhm.
but Thunder Mountain Railroad. If they did like some type of really super cool Christmas overlay of the whole thing, that would be amazing.
That would be really cool. Like have Christmas lights
all over the mountain and
throughout
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
And had like Santa Claus,
See,
like
Disneyland,
a mountain type guy.
Disneyland does a lot of gimmicky things, I think. I mean, I don't know, this is my opinion, because they don't have the crowds that Orlando has. So, like, they had that Hyperspace Mountain thing for Space Mountain where they had all the Star Wars thing. They get all the cool stuff we don't get here. You know what I mean? I mean, we have cool stuff, but we don't get the special Space Mountain, Star Wars, Hyperspace Mountain. We don't get the Nightmare Before Christmas and the Mansion. They get a lot of cool stuff out there.
They do, but we get, they do, for Halloween have on Space Mountain, they have the special soundtrack and they turn all the lights off. That's supposed to be really scary.
The thing, in the past, the crowds in Orlando have been so heavy, they don't want to shut down a ride for 2 weeks to do an overlay because they want to give the crowd a place to go. This seems like a good year to do some of that stuff.
Yeah, well, anyway, we'll see what happens, guys. That is the news on all the Christmas stuff that's happening. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you soon, and we'll see you in the parks.